Representatives Committee on Sports, Health, Super Eagles urges team to remain focused. Again in Israel, where Israel's military has issued its first 2026 strike warning before hitting 4 villages in Lebanon. Families fled as attacks continued despite an existing ceasefire, raising concerns over security, casualties and disarmament delays. Adaobi Obiachino reports that Israel bombs Lebanon villages despite ceasefire, citing Hezbollah and Hamas target.
The strike marks a worrying escalation in a fragile ceasefire landscape. While Israel insists that the attack hit Hezbollah and Hamas' position, the damage on the ground tells a broader story. Displaced families, destroyed homes, emergency responders on alert, and rising civilian casualties. The eastern village of Amanera suffered complete destruction of a house linked to Hamas leader killed in 2024. Underscoring how past alliance continue to shape present hostility. Despite commitment by Brits under intense U.S. pressure to disarm Hezbollah, progress remains slow, missing earlier deadlines, particularly south of Litani River. Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Saz has openly criticized the pace of disarmament as insufficient, with Lebanon's cabinet and the ceasefire monitoring committee set for higher level meeting this week. Pressure is mounting for accountability and measurable progress as deaths surpass 350 since ceasefire. Stability remains uncertain and deeply contested. Meanwhile, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun condemned Israel's latest Lebanon strike, saying they threatened ceasefire stability and derailed these escalation efforts. Israel claims it hits Hezbollah and Hamas weapon infrastructure. Diplomatic pressure is rising as Multinational Monitoring Committee meets Wednesday, amid dispute progress on Hezbollah's disarmament and fears of renewed escalation. Adobe Obiechina, NTA News.
Adaobi Obiachina also reports that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived Paris for the coalition of the willing talks on Ukraine's peace plan. European leaders, joined by U.S. envoys, are set to address regional security, while attention also shifts to Greenland and Venezuela.
The Paris peace talks beginning. Together, 27 European leaders alongside U.S. envoys, including Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, in a bid to advance a coordinated Ukraine peace plan. Zelensky's presence underscores the urgency for diplomatic engagement amid ongoing conflict in Donbass and border tensions with Russia. While Ukraine remains the primary focus, recent U.S. action in Venezuela and discussions about Greenland have added complexity to the summit, prompting a joint statement from Denmark, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the United Kingdom, reaffirming sovereignty, territorial integrity, and NATO cooperation. Analysts say the meeting could help shape multilateral approaches to both Eastern European security and transatlantic policy priorities, highlighting the interconnected nature of current global crises. Adobe Obiechina, NTA News.
In the meantime, the United Nations has voiced deep concern over what it describes as the dramatic U.S. operation in Venezuela, warning that it clearly undermined a fundamental principle of international law. The UN spokesperson, Ravina Shamdasan, observed that states must not threaten or use force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. Her comments came after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores were forcibly taken by U.S. commandos in the early hours of Saturday amid airstrikes on the Venezuelan capital backed by warplanes and a heavy naval deployment. Shamsuddin dismissed U.S. justifications of the Venezuelan government's long-standing and appalling human rights violations for the raid. Israel's foreign minister has arrived in Somaliland in the first high-profile visit by an Israeli official since the country recognized the breakaway region in the Horn of Africa. A delegation led by the Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar landed at the Hargeisa town and was received at the airport by senior government officials. The Somaliland presidency, in a statement, says he will be meeting with the Somaliland top officials. Here in Nigeria, Chief of the Army Staff Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu has assured of the deployment of more combat-ready troops across theaters of operations in Niger State and the country to stem the surge of attacks by terrorists. The Army Chief stated this while declaring open the annual conference organized by Training and Doctrine Command, Nigerian Army, with the theme, Enhancing Operational Outcomes Through Effective Training and Doctrine Implementation. Dauda Mohammed reports.
The visit to Mina, headquarters of Training and Doctrine Command, by Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, to declare open the annual conference of the senior think tank responsible for developing, overseeing training, command and research, is also expected to serve as a morale booster to officers and men in the area. The critical nexus between sound doctrine and success in operations is expected to be improved after the conference.
For the recent wave of attacks in Niger State, you know that the landmass of Niger State is one of the largest we have. And we are looking at it and how we are going to, do various deployments just to curtail those waves of attacks. In doing that, we'll be looking at our deployments here in Niger State and how we can either have a troop surge or we can leverage various technology inputs to how it will impact positively on the various operations that the troops down here are conducting.
The threat landscape confronting our nation is increasingly dynamic and adaptive, requiring an army that is equally agile, forward-looking, and doctrinally grounded.
It is hoped that the outcome of this conference by the Training and Doctrine Command, Nigerian Army, and the presence of the Chief of the Army Staff will improve the operational framework to overcome current security challenges across not just Niger State, but Nigeria as a whole. The Chief of the Army Staff was also at the open residences of former military President General Ibrahim Babangida and former Head of State General Abdulsalami Abubakar. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
From Niger State, we take you to Bauchi, where the Bauchi State government has reopened all public, private and tertiary schools in the state, following a month-long closure due to security concerns. The government reassured the public of enhanced security, encouraging students to resume classes promptly. Muazu Hassan reports.
In November 2025, Bauchi State government closed all schools in the state due to security concerns. After 6 weeks, the schools have now been reopened, with Education Commissioner Dr. Muhammad Lawan remains monitoring the reopening, where he praises the turnout of teachers and students.
Parents should be well informed and educated by me that our schools are more safer than they were before. And Alhamdulillah, my governor, Dr. Senator Bala Abdulkadir Mohammed Bauchi, is so passionate, is very cooperative when it comes to issues on education.
Principals expressed confidence in the government's safety measures.
I'm confident with the Ministry of Education, the government is there.
In fact, already our student has been informed for the commencement of the last time examination that we're supposed to have taken it, that we are going to start tomorrow, hoping to end on or before next Monday.
Very confident that everything is going to be okay, and it's going to be the session will run smooth and fine, and we believe that this time will be better than those times we missed.
All federal, state and private schools are now open, resuming their full academic activities. In Bauchi, Moaz Hassan, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigerian Army has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening civil-military relations and promoting national unity with the hosting of the 2025 Nigerian Army Social Activities (NASA) by Headquarters 18 Brigade in Bida, Niger State. Musa Mikhail reports that the event, which was packed with fun-filled activities, also provided an opportunity for officers and men of all ranks to socialize and interact in a relaxed atmosphere.
The Nigerian Army Social Activities, popularly known as NASA, is an annual end-of-the-year event designed to bring together officers and soldiers of all ranks, as well as their families, friends, and members of the host community in a relaxed and socially engaging atmosphere. The initiative provides a unique opportunity for military personnel to interact freely with their loved ones outside the unusual regimental environment, while also strengthening bonds with members of the civilian population and sister security agencies. Beyond social interaction, the event serves as a platform for showcasing Nigeria's rich cultural diversity, as various ethnic groups are expected to display their heritage. Commandant 18 Brigade Bida, Niger State Brigadier General Babatunde Gambari, says the Nigerian Army Social Activity is an avenue to appreciate the sacrifice and dedication of officers and men in the defense of the nation, while also providing an opportunity to socialize and strengthen relationships with their host community.
We're keen into his command philosophy. Thus, we must take the welfare of our soldiers. We must put it first before any other thing.
This social activity has really brought some form of unity between all the forces that are on ground here.
The 2025 Nigerian Army Social Activity is therefore expected to further deepen mutual understanding, promote cultural harmony, and reinforce the enduring partnership between the Nigerian Army and the community it serves, in line with the people's-oriented approach to national security. Musa Mikhail, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. It's time to take a break. When we return, correspondence on review of some major activities in the outgone year. Stay tuned. In an era where software and digital skills drive the global economy, Nigeria is making a strategic move to ensure its youth are not just consumers of technology, but its architects. Shehu Mohammed Datti reports that this is coming at the inauguration of the Digital Skills Implementation Committee by the Office of Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume.
The inauguration of the Joint Implementation Committee on Digital Skills has brought together stakeholders with a clear goal to raise awareness about the importance of digital literacy in national development, provide hands-on training in basic digital tools, online safety, and digital entrepreneurship.
This inauguration represents a significant milestone in the federal government's deliberate and strategic commitment to deepening national digital literacy, strengthening human capacity development, and promoting inclusive digital transformation in line with national development priorities. The Joint Implementation Committee is established to give practical effect to the strategic collaboration between the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Clergy World Cooperative Society Limited.
While the committee's roadmap is underway, the focus remains firmly on inclusivity, ensuring young Nigerians across the 6 geopolitical zones are not left out of the digital revolution.
For the digital literacy, the target is to reach to 1 million Nigerians across all the 36 states and FCT. And similarly, the Artisan project is also targeted at reaching all of them.
As the committee begins its work, the eyes of millions of young Nigerians are watching. They are not looking for a committee. They are looking for a future where their digital skills become their greatest currency. In Abuja, I'm Shehu Mohammed Datti, NTA News.
Thank you, Shehu. And in a similar news, in 2025, Nigeria's ICT sector maintained its position as one of the high contributors to the nation's GDP at 18%. However, certain little foxes are still spoiling Nigeria's ICT vine, hampering full harnessing of digital economic gains. Chidimandu BC reports that the federal government, through the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, this year initiated and consolidated on programs and projects that will ensure an end to these issues.
You make calls, the call will be dropped, you won't hear what the other side are saying, and money will be reading. We increase the tariff and all that. Now, despite the increments, we are paying more than what we are getting. Even internet service, the speed is too low.
Telecommunications subscribers narrating quality of service experience. More than 23 million Nigerians, especially those in rural and hard-to-reach areas, remain cut off from the digital economy, its opportunities and gains. In this era where telecom services power every socio-economic activity, including essential government programs and services, though industry regulators make efforts to demand improved quality of service from service providers, experts believe these will be permanently resolved when the federal government's deployment of 90,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables nationwide, facilitated by the World Bank's $2 billion investment portfolio, hits the ground in 2026. Meanwhile, 2025 has seen a sharp rise in cyber crimes due to fintech growth, e-government services, and negative use of artificial intelligence.
All those we see in the digital platform, whether you call them TikTok, whether it is, will be there for you, will confront you.
Fraud perpetrated through the cyberspace, cryptocurrency fraud. We are in court with some of these international players in cryptocurrency. So we are not going to allow our system to be used as a base for these international criminal cells.
Bright spots that made the difference in 2025. The federal government's 3 Million Technical Talents Program, 3MTT, run by the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, empowered the nation's tech-savvy youth, producing a total of 135,000 fellows at the end of the year. The likes of Michael, with little or no ICT experience, have become tech entrepreneurs.
We have also been able to build and ship software solutions to businesses and individuals within Nigeria and outside Nigeria.
Those that we can actually recall that have gotten job opportunities in the first batch of the training program is already over 15,000.
As much as there were challenges in the sector, we also saw an improvement. It really expanded in the year. And for it to have expanded, that means there was more investment. And thanks to things like 5G, that more people adopted, even telco companies at this time, it means that you're able to do things in a more seamless manner. We are starting to have professionals that even though they work in Nigeria, they can work anywhere else in the world because they're acclimatizing to emerging technologies.
Nigeria's communications sector stood out in 2025 as a vital engine for economic diversification, growth, and youth empowerment, with prospects for improvement in 2026. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Very well, Chidima. Now, beyond daily politics, access to clean water, food security and power drives national progress. We turn attention to the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, which is revolutionizing the sector, constructing over 2,000 water schemes, serving millions of Nigerians with several dam projects, boosting irrigation farming. Usman Zubairu has the details of the ministry's 2025 achievements under the Renewed Hope agenda.
For millions of Nigerians, 2025 may be remembered as year a decade-long promise finally materialized. Water, long seen only as a source of life, is now aggressively being harnessed as a new source of energy for the national grid. This focus on maximizing Nigerians' liquid asset defines the scorecard of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation for the past year. The ministry yearly review highlighted a major breakthrough in the energy sector. The new 40-megawatt Kashimambile hydropower plant is now fully operational and feeding into the national grid. With additional contribution from the Gurara and Datinkuwa dams, Nigeria's clean hydropower capacity has been boosted to a combined 110 megawatts. The ministry has firmly aligned itself with the Renewed Hope agenda's pillar of food security, Prioritizing irrigation, they saw a successful delivery of 2,000 hectares of irrigated farmlands to farmers at Datin Core Irrigation Scheme. This focus on water management has expanded irrigable lands managed by the River Basin Development Authorities to 154,000 hectares, directly supporting over 1.6 million farmers nationwide.
Saddled with the responsibility of developing, implementing policies, programs, and projects that will enable us meet and sustain the access to safe and sufficient water.
Nigeria's leadership was reaffirmed when the country hosted the 6th African Regional Conference on Irrigation and Drainage in Abuja. The event focused on sustainable agriculture, irrigation technology, and water management solutions. Numerous rural water supply projects were constructed to enhance access to clean water for over 2,000 beneficiaries across various states. The ministry's agencies are being strengthened to also deliver on the overall mandate. NISA is actively involved in flood and drought-related activities. The National Water Resources Institute has trained over 1,500 youth in plumbing, drilling, and water technology. Also, the Nigerian Integrated Water Resources Management Commission has issued 24 water use licenses to several water users, ensuring fair allocation of the nation's water resources. The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, in collaboration with the Embassy of Hungary, hosted the Nigerian-Hungarian Water Forum in Abuja. The high-level event marked a major milestone in bilateral cooperation between Nigeria and Hungary in the areas of water resources management, engineering innovation, flood control, and climate resilience. The year 2025 also witnessed inauguration of the Project Steering Committee for the Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria SPIN project.
This will help to deliver the large-scale multipurpose infrastructure for irrigation and hydropower components to the revitalization of our rural community.
In the area of public health and sanitation, the Clean Nigeria campaign has accelerated its push towards ending open defecation. Number of open defecation-free ODF local government areas has increased to 162, a significant leap from the figures reported at the beginning of the year. This was supported by the construction of 5,238 new sanitation facilities nationwide. The ministry has set a clear agenda for the coming year, prioritizing and commissioning a major infrastructure, including the Mangu, Adada, and Gbese Dam, from increasing power generation to enhancing food security and mitigating the annual flood menace. Osman Zubairu, NTA News.
On a solemn note, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed sadness over the passing of 82-year-old respected Nigerian scholar and pioneer of wildlife and fisheries management, Professor Seth Sunday Ajayi. President Tinubu says the Mokwa Kogi-born professor of wildlife ecology served Nigeria and humanity through his innovations in wildlife and fisheries management worldwide. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says President Tinubu extends his condolences to Ajayi's family, friends and associates, the government and people of Kogi State, as well as the Nigerian environmental sciences community over the loss of the dedicated professional. The House of Representatives Committee on Sports has urged the Super Eagles to remain focused and avoid complacency as they prepare for their quarter-final match at the ongoing 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. Chairman of the committee, Kabiru Amadu, in a statement applauding Nigeria's emphatic 4-0 victory over Mozambique in Monday's round of 16 encounter, stressed the importance of maintaining concentration on winning the trophy as the tournament enters its decisive stages. The House Sports Committee commends the Super Eagles players and the technical crew for their composure and collective strength so far, which have seen goals produced from all the departments of the team. And that concludes the news on NTA International. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolene Ebel Ame, and my sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi. Bye for now.